And we're doing all the tech. Hey, welcome. It's Andijo with BIG Bourbon Club, and I am here with Greg Keely with Larrikin Bourbon Company. And Greg is actually coming live from us in California, Sacramento, California. So Greg,
only just as it turns out.
Yeah. Thanks for being here. This will be a pretty easy conversational. We've got a lot of people really looking forward to hearing from you. We have some cool questions that they came to me for, and I've spent some time over at Larrikin, learning about it, learning to love it. Actually, I went to collect all my bottles today, and I have 2 that are empty that I forgot were empty because I drank them all. But
Andy Joe.
I know. Hey, isn't that the point? Then I can just buy more from Tipsy.
I guess that's right. Yeah, no, that's good.
Good.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm just trying to be a good customer. Okay.
Excellent.
All right, Greg. So I just kind of want to start at the beginning. I know you had a little. You're from Australia, obviously. You had a little tasting room at Wild Turkey 101. We had a couple questions about like how did an Australian Navy sailor, it's Navy in Australia, right? Still or not?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I say that and then I'm like, is that right? An Australian Navy sailor end up in Kentucky, distilling bourbon. And then now here you are with this big growing company. So you want to give us the scoop?
Yeah, it's, in many respects, I still don't genuinely know how it happened. I did 22 years in the military, 12 in Australia with the Special Boat Service, and then 10 here down at Virginia Beach and moving around there. Funnily enough, I never served a day on a warship as a ship's officer. But my family are, sort of in the wine business back home. And so I've been around making booze, if you like, for, a long time. So it was really, I got out and just fell in love with Kentucky and decided to move there. And if you're in Kentucky, there's only 2 things to do. It's either bourbon or it's horses. And I'm scared shitless of horses. So bourbon won.
That's cool. And you started with just a little tasting room, right? And you were making your bourbon offsite, just trying to have people taste it, seeing what they liked it, and everyone just kind of loved it and selling out. Is that right?
Yeah. In a nutshell, that was a better description than I could have done. We started, I've been doing this off and on for 10 years, more off than on, but the good thing about that was it gave us some some age stuff before we some age product before we even started the brand. So distilling off and on, then I was selling barrels to all sorts of stuff was going on. I didn't really know what was happening, and people liked the whiskey, and so we thought one day, well, let's see if we can create a brand. And trying to create a whiskey brand in Kentucky is like trying to open a Michelin star restaurant in New York.
Yeah.
If people don't like it, they're going to tell you pretty quick. And, we were lucky. We had some great support from some of the biggest names in the bourbon industry that, just helped, gave advice and all that sort of thing. And so we went from our little, it was an old dress shop, and we turned it into a small tasting bar and had a little gift shop in there. And a year later, we bought the building that you've been to, Andijo, and we started gutting that, renovating that, and it's still a work in progress. But now we've got a 30-acre campus there, and it's an old metalwork shop, and they used to sell tractors and farm implements and that sort of stuff. And we've turned it into Larrikin Distillery, and it's got its own little vibe, as you can attest.
Right.
It's more I didn't want it to be like every other distillery in Kentucky. Not there's anything wrong with them. It just wasn't what we were going for. And, our place has more of a, well, I modeled it on one of my favorite craft breweries in Australia, in Yallingup, and it's the concrete floors, the neon lights, it's got more of a bar, a cool bar vibe.
It's definitely somewhere you walk in and you want to hang out at. I think that like a lot of distilleries, in my experience too, is that you go in and there's distilleries and you do the tour and you sit at the bar, and it's very similar, that kind of vibe. Yeah. It's like the bar is secondary to the distillery part of that business. But for you guys, the social experience is the primary source, and understanding how people are, what you're doing and what you're making or whatever is secondary. You don't, at that point, you're like, you can come in for a tour if you want, but we really want you to try it and drink it. You have a really cool cocktail program. So I do think that makes a big difference. And before we get too far, you were originally Lawrenceburg bourbon, correct, right? And then why the swap over? And I love the story of your name, Larrikin. So can you share like how that came about?
Absolutely. So, when we started, we had no idea what was going on, and we couldn't think of a name, and we were in Lawrenceburg and we searched it, and there was no other, despite the very storied history of Lawrenceburg, the town, in the Mary Dowling and, Van Winkles and all these guys have all lived there and distilled there, but there'd never been a Lawrenceburg bourbon company. So we thought, what the hell, we'll give that a crack. And then people started mistaking us for, everyone assumed we were MGP because they're in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. That got asked of us literally every day. And that got a bit tiresome. And then we kind of reflected on it, and it was like, the Lawrenceburg name is great. It's got a lot of history, but it doesn't really mean anything to us personally. Whereas Larrikin, on the other hand, means a lot. And Larrikin is a very old slang term out of Australia. It's still in use now, but really came into its own with the Australian soldiers in World War I with British generals. And the whole deal is a larrikin is someone that, doesn't really take direction very well and does their own thing, and then will ask forgiveness later when it all goes to shit.
I mean, that's how I live my life. Forgiveness is easier than permission, way easier.
Exactly. So, and this is what happened with the Australian troops in World War I, was they'd get all these orders from these British generals that were morons, and then they would just go, no, I'm not doing that, do their own thing, still get the job done, and then go, yeah, sorry, you're an idiot, we still got the job done. So that's kind of how we roll.
I love that. And that's something that's really cool about your stuff. I mean, you guys really are, even from what you're doing as far as the distillery goes. I mean, you have that property, and it is a bar, and it is out by the farm, and it's, it used to sell, tractor, farming equipment, whatever, but you're doing more than that. You've got this mobile bar situation that you're kind of working through with. It's in a shipping container. You've got a cigar lounge, and have an opportunity for like cigar lounge tastings with bourbons. You've got, I know that you're looking at live music. And again, like we said, experience for people. I know you've got some other stuff kind of going in the future. Can you tell us about like what's the 2-year kind of development? I know you got a lot of things going on as far as your property goes.
Right. Yeah. So thank you. It's still a work in progress, but thanks for recognizing the front. So we're building out a patio area in the front of the distillery. Well, it's done now. And it's pretty big. We're putting it under roof, or under a, like the sailcloth. We've got a mobile bar, which is indeed built into a container. And then we've also now, we're just putting the finishing touches on our food trailer, which is also parked on the patio, which will serve Australian fare, like Australian meat pies and sausage rolls and lamingtons, which are like little cakes with, they're like little sponge cakes with like chocolate sauce on the outside and all dry. It's very
Sounds terrible. Terrible.
They're so good. Oh, and we're gonna have a real coffee out in the truck or in the trailer, and maybe even Tim Tams if you're lucky.
I love it. And then are we allowed to talk about your barn guards that you're considering?
So you probably can't see it on this now, but on our little banner here, see that guy right there?
I do see
that's
him.
An emu.
It's like an Australian ostrich or something. I mean, I literally don't know.
Yep, that's exactly what they are. So they stand about 7 foot or so tall. They're big. They're kind of mean. And in Australia, people use them to guard their cattle and their sheep.
Oh, so I didn't know that was real. I didn't know they're actually guard animals. I didn't actually.
Yeah, like people use donkeys here or whatever. Same sort of deal. And so the guard emus, we're thinking of, well, I want to, I've just got to convince everyone else. I want to put guard emus up around the rick house, around the warehouse, to keep prying eyes off the prize, as it were. So we'll see. That's my plan. I don't know if it'll wash, but we'll give it a crack.
I mean, aren't you the boss? Like, who else has to agree? Your wife seems pretty cool. I mean, is she like all this Australian stuff as much as you do, or no?
No, she digs it, but she's probably more worried about the emu pegging someone's face off.
The insurance policy. I mean, somebody's got to be reasonable, I guess. I don't know.
Well, see, I
feel like that feels like a forgiveness situation. I don't know.
Right. Well, if someone's stupid enough to jump over my fence, the emu should be allowed to do whatever he wants to him.
I agree. Listen, I'm on your team here. Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about whiskey. I've got some other questions, but let's okay. This guy. You can ignore that comment if you would like.
Oh, Ben, you're like the biggest wanker in bourbon.
Of all. We'll get to that, Gillette. We'll get to it. Okay. So you tell us, you have like 4 or 5 main kind of labels. So you have your maple finish, your bottle.
That's totally sold out. Yeah, we don't have that anymore.
I only have this much left. So can we get?
Oh yeah, you better save that, because we don't even have any at the distillery now. We haven't put any more up.
I'll just start smelling it instead.
Yeah.
So small, but you have bottled and bond.
Yep, actually, I've got one sitting right here. That's our bottled and bond right there.
Small batch. Your 6-year small batch.
Yep. Your
bottled and bond. Your straight. You have a straight bourbon, right?
Yeah, we have single barrel bourbons, which are 9 years old now. 75-21-4, which is our standard mash bill, pretty much, along with our bottled in bond. So our small batch is our sort of entry level, 80 proof, higher corn. One thing that kind of annoys me with, not annoys me, I just don't appreciate with lower proof whiskey. And I think it's, I have no issue with that, of course. What I don't like is when, like a distillery, like a big distillery or whatever, effectively just waters down one of their other lines to put it in the bottle at 80 proof. Yeah, and it just tastes like watered down version of what it was before. Mm-hmm. So our small batch, our 80 proof, is made to still taste like whiskey yet be an 80 proof, which I was very pleased we were able to pull off. Then we go to our Rosewater, and I don't have a bottle here.
I had one of those. That's one of the ones I'm magically missing. I have the bottle, but the whiskey's gone. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I don't know. People, I don't know. Your dog, cats.
Talk about it later.
Yeah. So Rosewater is great. That's our standard mash bill, proof down at 6 years old, proof down with distillery brewed, effectively rose petal tea.
Okay. Before we go any further, with the Rosewater, I tell this story all the time. Can you explain to all these bourbon nerds that are watching exactly how you were able to get approved and still call bourbon with having Rosewater to proof it down? Because that is mind-blowing to people.
Yeah.
Forgiveness, asking for forgiveness. Is that what
No, that was one we tried. We kept submitting it, resubmitting it to the TTB time after time after time. And one day we must have got it exactly right, checked all the boxes. I think a lot of it is because, the water comes out of our well. The roses are, fresh roses. There's nothing artificial. There's no anything. And we have just make tea with it. And, it got approved by TTB and I didn't ask any questions. And we're just motoring around. Yep. I was just like, thank you very much. And I don't know.
You proof it down. What's cool about that too is what I learned is you proof it down in the barrel, right?
Yes.
Is that right? Okay. So I had learned a lot about this whole rosewater thing. And I know that people will say, oh, people were worried it would be considered an additive, but because you're taking the rose petals out and it's just steeped in the water and then you're proofing it in the barrel, you're not adding anything to it.
Well, yes, that was our argument to the powers that be, and they asked a cajillion questions, and then they gave it the old thumbs up, and we were pretty happy about that. And now the rest is history. And we did it originally for the Kentucky Derby, the Run with the Roses kind of deal, and it was so popular we decided to make it a regular product, and now. It was seasonal for a time, but it's, our retailers and folks that buy our whiskey really enjoy it. So we just relaunched it about a month ago, and that's going to stay on our as one of our main products now.
Are you worried? Is there any way? I don't know. I really don't know this. Is there any way for you to trademark the rosewater process so that nobody else can do it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's certainly. Certainly worth asking the question. There may be. I mean, it's not rocket science, and frankly, if somebody else wants to do it, I don't care.
Okay, I didn't know if it mattered to you. I'm like, it's cool that you guys are the only ones that are really doing it. So
yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I just have to make the better version than the next guy. So that's how I look at it. And if another craft distillery wants to have a crack at it, good on them. I mean,
good luck.
I'm like, have at it. If it becomes more mainstream, I'm down with that too. So
I wonder if it will. Do you have spark any other ideas about ways to proof down it with other things? Could be anything, or you got. It's like, okay, if you get that approved, what else cool creative stuff could you do?
Yeah, I've thought about that. But to be honest, I'm not really much of a finished whiskey or proof. I just like bourbon. Mm-hmm. So in the short term, so I don't think so. I mean, we'll keep doing things like special releases like with the maple finish and things like that. But no, for the time being, I don't think so. We'll do some special barrels that we might proof in, or we might finish in some different things, just as sort of one-offs, and like the rosewater, if it takes and people really like it, we might look at it longer term. But nothing in the hopper. We try and, or my preference is we try and stay in that traditional lane, but doing stuff a little bit differently to everyone else.
Yeah, I think it's working clearly. So, okay, so I interrupted you. So after rosewater, then what else is on your shelf?
Yeah, so after rosewater, and I'm doing this in proof effectively. Sure. After rosewater, we go to our bottled in bond, which is an 8-year-old 75-21-4 mash bill. Maximum 5 barrels go into this, and you'll also notice that we always put our mash bill on the bottom of the bottle.
It's so cool.
And I mean, it's like goes back to the thing of, do you care if someone else makes rosewater or whatever? No, it's not rocket science. I mean, it always, coming from a wine background, it always surprises me that distilleries or distillers or corporations don't want you to know what's in the bottle, right? Or what it's made up of. So I just don't get it. I mean, it's bourbon. It's got 3 or 4 things in it, and that's it. And
yeah, that was something interesting I learned from another distiller too that really made me think about it, is like the barrel really is what gives it the character.
Right.
You can do exactly what it shows on your bottle. You can have the exact same kind, but it's really where it's being barreled, how long it happens, what kind of barrel it's in, and every single one of them are so different that it'd be impossible to get the exact same thing, even if you put the exact process on the label. And so when you're talking to people that are like, go ahead, it's fine, I'd love to see what you get too, and being supportive of that space.
Absolutely, 100%.
Of course. So that's great. Okay, so bottled and bond, and then
so bottled and bond. Then we would jump up to, what am I missing? Probably our single barrel. No, there's something, I'm missing one. What am I missing?
Well, you've got bourbon cream. You've got this. I want to hear all about cigar, but I want to know what your standards are.
Yeah. So hang on. So bottled and bond, and then we pretty much jump up to our single barrel bourbon, which is currently sits at 9.5, nearly 10 years old. Some of it's almost 10. 75-21-4 again. It's always at cask strength, and it's the our purple label, and they're always single barrels. We do a lot of private barrel picks with those, as you can imagine, and it's getting to the point now where we're probably going to pare it back a bit, in that we're not just going to have it as a regular SKU, so to speak. It'll be, the state distributor will have to pick the barrel, so there'll be the barrel will be unique to Indiana, or a retailer has to pick it, so it's unique. And I think we've started to introduce that in a few states now, and it's going pretty well. So I think that's what we're going to keep doing. But for now, in most places, you can get it you can get the single barrels everywhere. Then we go from that. We go to our. Let me see. I think we'd probably then, proof-wise, we would go to our cigar blend, which I unfortunately don't have in front of me.
I know. I'm having so much regret not buying one of those.
Yeah. So the cigar blend.
Cigar blend.
We make everything from per batch is from scratch. So we don't. Oh, that's not exactly true. We keep 10 gallons from each blend, so that whiskey always has the DNA of the very first batch we made.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
The batches are never going to be exactly the same, but they're pretty close. So I just finished doing batch 6 before I left, and I think we're really dialing it in now, and I think batch 6 is probably the best one we've done.
Cigar blend, batch 6 cigar blend. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's really good. And so for the folks who don't know, so our cigar blend is actually finished it's a huge pain in the ass to make.
Of course it is.
Huge pain in the ass. So it's finished in 5 barrels. It's, our 9-year-old. It's a higher rye content, comes in at 36% rye. So it's, which we needed to do because there's a lot going on in these barrels. So we have a Madeira barrel, a cognac barrel, a jackfruit barrel, a maple barrel, and an amburana barrel. And so why this is such a drama to make is each of those barrels finish at different times, right? So the amburana finishes in a few weeks. Whereas the cognac, because it's in that big ass, 150-gallon barrel, 200-gallon barrel, takes 4 or 5 months to get right.
Right.
So what you have to do is monitor each different barrel, and then when they're right, you dump them into their own stainless steel, and you have to do that for 5 barrels. So just getting the starting product to where you need it can sometimes take 6-8 months. Whereas you dump the first thing and it's only 3 weeks, and then the next one's. So it's just a huge, and then you've got to blend it. So, but yeah, we're really excited by it.
What makes it why is that, like, if they're all different woods? what makes it called a cigar?
It's one of those bourbon things.
Okay, I'm like, I don't know.
So there's nothing written down about it. There's no guidelines. When I first heard about cigar blend a few years ago, I thought it had cigars in it,
Yeah, or tobacco or something, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, like I was talking to, I forget who it was. It was either the guys at Nearly or Dark Arts, someone, we were all chatting about it. And one of them was telling me that when they first heard about cigar blend, this is true, they put dropped a cigar into one of their bottles to see what would happen, thinking that's, had tobacco in it. And the other guy, I think it was Nearly and Dark Arts, but anyhow, found it and tipped the cigar out, and it was disgusting, apparently. So,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, so you're not alone not knowing what it means. But effectively, the consumer really drives what a cigar blend is. And, in theory, it's meant to be something that you can enjoy, a whiskey you can enjoy with a cigar.
Okay. That makes sense. That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah. So, yeah, and what a lot of distilleries, their cigar blend is effectively an Amburana finished whiskey or bourbon. And I really hate Amburana. So that wasn't going to jive for us. So I think Amburana is the devil's work. And ours has a hint of Amburana in it, but not much, because people associate Amburana with cigar blend or cigar blend. Okay. So, we put a whisper of Amburana in it, and it did need it. It really helped it out. But, with the other 5 barrels, there is just a lot of complexity and a lot, it smells entirely different to it tastes, and then it tastes different after it's insane. It's a very, very complex pour, and we make it, as I say, in batches, and the batches sell out to distribution, and immediately there we release them.
That's great.
Indiana actually just bought most of it, most of batch 5.
Great.
Literally, they took 2/3 of it in one hit.
I'm taking orders, everyone. I will put my muling fee on top of that too, since I'm in Indiana. So on my way to wherever I'm going next. So, okay, so cigar batch, and then anything after that, or are those kind of your?
Yep. Then after cigar batch, our kind of we wrap it up with our newest product, which is our American light whiskey.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's an 8-year-old American light. It's an unusual mash bill. It's 85 corn, 15 malted barley. Generally, a American light will be 99.1 or 95.5. The reason ours isn't because I didn't know they were meant to be 95.5, and so we just did whatever we wanted. Anyhow, it was never meant to be a single barrel. Like, these are single barrel ALWs at hazmat strength. We popped the first one, and it was so good. I was like, oh no, it was so unexpected. I was like, okay, crack another couple. So we cracked another couple, and they're all as good. And I'm like, this is crazy. So there's a lot of caramel to it, and we never, I shouldn't say that because we don't do tasting notes at Larrikin. I think that's a bit obnoxious. So we never tell you.
I can't ever figure it out. I don't ever know. I'm like, this one's great. I like this one. Tastes like bourbon. It's good.
We've built our whole distillery just on palate, not on tasting notes, or does it taste like leather, or does it taste like the back of a 76 Buick or whatever. That's just not our thing. So,
but I just want to tell you now at this point, I'm going to start telling everyone what American muscle car my bourbon tastes like. Now that you've just said, that's a great idea. That's how I'm going to roll.
Might as well.
Might as well.
So, we opened these bottles, and I thought maybe I was being a bit. I'd never been a light whiskey guy. I'm not really a hazmat guy either, to be honest. But these were so good, and we were popping bottles that were 140 barrels that were 145, 161, 150, like nothing under 145, and. So we bottled a couple of barrels to see what the market would like, what our retailers and customers, and everyone just went. Psst. So what it is now is the American Light is a 8-year-old, age-stated, single barrel, cask strength hazmat, and it retails for
these questions are out of control.
Michael, did my wife tell you to ask that? She's been trying to get me to shave it off for 6 months.
It actually is your wife. She's just disguised.
Yeah, actually, looks a bit like her. But anyhow, yeah. So it was just almost a free kick for us, and people have loved it. And we do single barrels of it, and on our online shop, it's I think after the cigar blend, after the single barrel, it's the most purchased thing we have at the moment.
I love that. It's cool to see what you're doing. I mean, I've been back where your barrels are and whatever, and it seems like the few times that I've been there, there's always like this magical, dusty, dark corner barrel that you magically find that turns into something like crazy. And how does that happen? Is someone not paying attention, or like where they are, or what? And you're just, oh, look, tipsy.
Hey, tipsy.
Hey, tipsy. And like, what if you're? I'm like semi-organized. I usually know where most of my things are, but you're like, I don't know what's in this barrel. Let's just pop this thing. And what is going on there? It feels like, do you have like one great story about a wild barrel that you can't even believe?
No, we haven't. So what people need to appreciate is that, for a long time, for the first 2 or 3 years, it was sort of just me and people that would come and help.
Mm-hmm.
And we had barrels, and we didn't have our own place to store them or anything. So we had barrels, just all over the place.
In the bathroom, in the kitchen.
Yeah. Don't laugh. I can't say, but yes. So, we, and my record keeping wasn't particularly good at that point. And we've come across barrels that we had to.
I mean, wasn't one like stored in a parking lot on accident once?
Oh, that just happened. So we, because we're moving everything around at the moment, there's, and we're doing a lot of bottling and dumping presently, there's a lot of empty barrels in the parking lot. And there was just shit from, as we say in Australia, arsehole to breakfast time on our property there. Just stuff because we had nowhere to put it. And barrels and containers and shipping containers and old equipment and totes and all sorts of stuff. Anyhow, these barrels were slowly getting moved, and we'd made a barrel fence out the front, and so we started using them. Anyhow, there's this one barrel. Oh, there was 3 barrels sitting there still, and it was snowing. And I'm like, why doesn't someone just move these freaking barrels? And so I tipped over the first one, I rolled it down, and to get it out of the way. Went to do the second one, and it was full.
Oh.
And I'm like, okay, this is probably water, but we need to check.
Yeah, either somebody's in trouble or somebody's getting a raise. Like, really?
Yeah, well, it had been out there for months, and it had been snowing. It's when we had all those blizzards up in Kentucky, and then it was hot, and then it was in the sun. Like, literally, it had been out there for months and months and months, through summer into fall, bad winter, and then this. Like, this is only 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, it sounds like the weather today in Indiana, actually.
Yeah. Well, here it's beautiful and 75.
We don't want to hear about it. Go ahead.
But
keep
yeah,
going. Lost barrel.
This barrel, the lost barrel, it was pretty full. Turns out it was at the time. Well, I think it'd be a 9-year-old now because it was that batch. But it's a 9-year-old lost barrel that was sitting out the back, and it's not made up. It literally was, and it's reacted. It's different to the other single barrels, but we'll probably bottle that up at some point in the next little bit and just sell it through have it available through the gift shop for folks or online at on our web store.
Will it be available on May 23rd when we're all there? Asking for a friend here.
How about this, Andijo? I will get them to pull a sample bottle, and we'll have it there so we can try it.
That'd be cool. These guys love that stuff, and just to be able to try it is something really cool.
Yeah, I'll make myself a note because I'll 100% forget.
Oh, I won't forget. These guys won't let me forget. Don't worry.
But we call it the lost barrel, which is so dramatic. But
I love it. I think that's cool. I mean, I feel like you should, like the labeling would literally just be like the bottle just written like with a white like paint pen, the lost barrel, like nothing super official. It'd be super cool.
And then just
like you should have like a ship in a bottle moment or something. I mean, where's that? I feel like there's something.
We could do all the legal stuff just on a small thing on the bottom and just write.
On a post-it, like a post-it on the front.
If I could get away with that, I'd do that for sure.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's paying attention. Okay, so lots of people in the chat are asking about where. So I know you're doing, you're adding more states, you're adding brand ambassadors, you're adding all these things. So where are you distributing? What is it just liquor stores? Are you doing on-premise stuff? Like where are we at? Tipsy's on. Everyone's asking about Tipsy. All of a sudden Tipsy gets on, and all of these, I'm looking at these chat logs. And I'm like, everyone wants to know who Tipsy is. Apparently we should interview Tipsy. I don't know what's going on, but I think it's because he was a wanker, which we'll get to that last.
Yeah, he was the very first wanker interview ever.
And I feel really responsible for that. Because I was the one that told you that he was in town, but we'll get to that in a minute. Where can these guys pick your stuff up? Where's it at? How do they know where to find it?
The easy, like if you can't find anything, you can buy everything on our website, which is just larrikinbourbon.com. The shipping's actually pretty good. We get someone else to do it for us, but they do a great job. If you order it, I think like tonight, it'll probably be shipped tomorrow. Yeah. So just larrikinbourbon.com, and it's all the same pricing as it is in the gift shop and things like that. Mm-hmm. India, like states, we're in 19, soon to be 20 states now. That's why I'm here in California, in part. But around you guys, obviously, where you are and Tipsy is in Indiana. We've only been in Indiana for, I don't know, probably 4 or 5 this year. Like we launched in January sometime, and already Indiana is in our top 3 states.
Oh yeah, we don't mess around.
No, it's been awesome. And the great thing I love about Indiana is if we come up to do tastings or a barrel pick and stuff, people turn out and they turn up, and doesn't matter how cold it is or snowy it is. It's fantastic. We did a great barrel pick at Handy Spot at Tipsy's place, and it was like a hoot. We were there for like 4 hours picking these barrels.
Well, and we've got one coming. So we've got he's got the first ever Rosewater single barrel, right? Coming in. Yep. And he's got a dusty lost barrel coming in too. I don't know what it was. I had done a couple like flights, and I was just told to try this, and it was great. And I don't really know exactly what it was.
That was great.
It was. He's got tell me 2 or 3 more coming in here pretty soon. Or
he's got a great palate, but he's got a really good team supporting. His pick team are really great. So that's fantastic. But so then around there, like Wisconsin, Indiana, Illinois, Michigan, what else is up there? Sort of pretty much everything up there. No, Midwest.
Ohio, Illinois.
No, not Ohio.
Kentucky, obviously.
Kentucky, Tennessee. And then where we've expanded just recently is into New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, then down into Florida, Texas, California, Arizona. It's sort of just. Is there anywhere on your? Yes, on the website. People can see what states we're in, and I really encourage. And this got told to me by actually it was a guy in Wisconsin that I forget what the chain's called. It's a local Wisconsin liquor chain. Anyhow, he said to me, and I've had this confirmed by other folks, is that even if the store doesn't stock it yet, if people go in and ask for it,
Yes.
they will almost 100% get it.
Yes.
So for everyone that's listening or watching, if I can, encourage you, beg you, urge you, whatever it is, bribe you, when you're out and about and you go into your favorite liquor store or Total Wine or whatever it is, and you don't see our stuff, please ask for it, because that'll help us. It helps enormously. If you say, "Oh, have you got Larrikin?"
Yeah, it's when I was working in distribution, and that was a thing. Like, if people came in and asked for it, they would be calling and saying, "Hey, I've got 3 people that asked for this week. Can I get it?" The other thing.
Yep.
We did not talk about what I think is such a staple, which is your maple bourbon cream. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't talked about it. People said that they thought it was new. Literally, I would shower in this stuff every day if I could, but it is incredible. So
I bathe in it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm like, how do I get this hooked to my indoor plumbing? With that, I know it's rum based. It's got the dairy. It's your single barrel. Is that right?
No. So our maple bourbon cream has only got 4 ingredients. It has our small batch, the orange label.
Small batch. Yeah.
It has a little bit of rum, which we kind of made to put in it. Put it this way: I'm never going to make any money as a rum distiller. let's just be honest. Bit of rum, and then the only other 2 ingredients: maple syrup from Wisconsin and dairy from Wisconsin. And there's only 4 things in it. So if you look at a lot of these much bigger, thank you, Jeannie, that's very kind. If you look at a lot of the mass-produced bourbon creams, there's a lot of what do you call it? Preservatives and additives and stuff for shelf life and stuff, I guess. And I get it. But ours doesn't have that in. The good thing is you can open it, put it in the fridge, and it's good 12 months. Not that it'll last 12 months, but
never. I thought I ran out of mine and I didn't know it was gone. I mixed it with my heavy whipping cream and made whipped cream out of it.
Oh.
And put it on ice cream, and it was wild. And I've also I've done it with root beer floats too. Super good.
Oh yeah.
I have put it on my eggs at breakfast. I mean, I can literally eat it all the time. Like,
people put it in their bread pudding. Like, we don't have creamer at the distillery. That's all you can use is our bourbon cream in coffee. People put in bread pudding, on pancakes, on ice cream. We had this one lady. This is a few weeks ago now, just recently, that Sundays we don't open until 12 because of state law. At 10 o'clock, but there's generally someone there. 10 o'clock, this lady's banging on the door. And we're like, dude, the gate's not even open. Anyhow, she was younger than my mom, but she was,
a little old lady.
Yeah, someone's grandma.
She's making breakfast for somebody.
Correct. And she was like, her husband was meant to pick up the bourbon cream, didn't. And it's a tradition that they have it on their waffles.
Oh my God.
And the husband was apparently all pissy because he didn't have it to put on his waffles, even though he was meant to pick it up. It was very funny. She was a freaking hoot.
I feel like you should have like a milkman program where people are delivering it to front doors.
That'd be super great if you could do that. But it was hilarious. And we're like, look, we can't sell you this now, but I might have some in my car. Let's go with the next property, ask for forgiveness. Yeah. No, I just gave it to her because she was such a.
Oh yeah, awesome. It really is amazing. I mean, it's like there's nothing. I was eating it with the banana ice cream and root beer and bourbon cream. It was so good, like a root beer float, but with the bourbon cream, it's so good. Okay,
so we make a root beer float. It's ours after the old fashions. Root beer floats with our bourbon cream are our biggest selling cocktail in the distillery. And you see all these big tough guys with these root beer floats because it is so. They are. Emily, our bar manager, made it up. They are amazing. We actually sell them now in a little Ziploc packet with a can of root beer, a mini of the cream and a mini of the small batch, so you can make your own root beer float at home.
That's so smart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fun.
Everyone's asking about Wanker Wednesday. Okay. Everybody, literally, I think that's what everyone's talking about. So what I want to know is how this started. What's a wanker? I mean, I know. Okay, what is a wanker for Wanker Wednesday? Is what I'm asking.
All right.
Okay?
So, okay. All right. So a wanker.
And how did 2 people in our county end up as wankers?
Well, there's a lot of wankers there, obviously.
Apparently.
I just crashed into.
We're selling a lot of whiskey in Indiana, but we're also a bunch of wankers.
Yeah. So a wanker is look, Australians swear a lot, right? And wanker is now just like saying, hey, mate, to somebody. But, or a bit worse than that. But its genesis is a wank. Okay. Between you and me.
We're grown-ups. We can talk about this. Just
wanker,
earmuffs, everyone. Earmuffs.
So it refers to masturbation.
Oh, you're kidding.
So a wanker is a masturbator.
Well, is that bad?
No, not at all. But that's where it comes from.
Okay.
So,
but it's turned into this term of somebody like I kept referring it as like hey, you idiot. Oh, uh-oh. Where are we at? What happened? Okay, we're back. And it says like, oh my gosh, you're such an idiot, or why did you do that? Or hey, dumbass. Like that's kind of what I think about it.
Dumbass. Yeah. And it's also someone that so that's one version. And then, like like it's almost like the sort of meaner version is that you're a bit of a Karen. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So, the people and how it all started was someone wrote us this review that was so stupid and mean. I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to read this out on Instagram. And we just called it Wanker Wednesday because it was a Wednesday. Anyhow, it just took off. It was our biggest hit on Instagram, and now it's a whole thing. We're bringing out hats and T-shirts, and it's Wanker Wednesday is the business. We may even bring out a Wanker Wednesday bourbon. Who knows?
Listen, full support.
And anyone, like particularly in the retail side, if anyone has a like a bad review or someone that's just an obnoxious twat that's done something, please send it my way because we'll out them on Wanker Wednesday.
I have a couple. I will email you.
Please.
Ben Gillette, you know what I'm talking about. Just saying. I got a couple. I think it's crazy. It's so interesting to me on social media. Your social media is so great, and your girls or your people do such a good job. But it's so funny to see people just waiting for it, and then when you put the hats out, sold out instantly. Like,
oh yeah, you were there, weren't you, when they sold out?
Oh yeah. We couldn't even I was literally in store, and we were like, well, I don't think that we can even get one.
No, you couldn't. They went immediately. Like that's never happened before. We're not a merchandise company.
Ashley McAdory says that she thinks the wankers should have their face on a bottle, but I think that I'm like that feels like too much glory. Like on
a milk bottle.
Yeah, exactly. Like a missing person. So the 2 wankers in our area were.
Actually, I think you're right.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Ben Gillette, because we had him blind taste 2 bottles side by side. It was one of our most watched videos of all time. Just saying. And
no, because it was fucking epic. Is what
you have to tell. Okay, you tell the story. You tell it. You tell it better.
No, you tell it. Okay. I'll just chip in.
Gillette let's give him all the respect. The best part is he can't chime in because he's managing the back end of the tech part of this, and he's having dinner with his sweet, sweet wife that the Lord bless her. Okay. We're all of this tasting, this single barrel tasting. Lucas is my witness. Tipsy is my witness. And Gillette's like, we're going to pick that. We've gotten down to the last 2. We're going to decide what we want. And so we said, okay, let's have Gillette blind taste them. So he gets 2 of the Glencairns. He tries them. He tries the first one and he goes, I already know. I already know which one this is, which could have been true. Tries the second one. He's like, yep, I already know. This one's number 3 and this one's number 4. What he didn't know is he got the exact same bourbon in both glasses. And he was the only one that really didn't know, which was awesome. Yep. And so, but the best part was he just kept being so consistent about they taste different. They taste different, but they were exactly the same, which was great. So
it was like everybody else knew. I don't know how we got away with that.
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. It was the best setup. I didn't think there was any chance we'd get away with it.
And we did.
But he took it like a champ, which is good, which is great. But it was just fucking amazing.
It was awesome. So bad reviews, funny experiences. Tipsy was a wanker because he was in the area and didn't show up, didn't even show up. I happened to be there and I was like, is Tipsy coming? And I got him in trouble. But
yep, you did.
All
you
for
threw
the
him under the bus.
Yeah, I did. I didn't do it on purpose. I love me some Tipsy, but here we are. Okay, last thing for me real quick. I haven't really caught on to the Kit Kat thing. Can you help us with that? What's going on with that?
So a few weeks ago in Canada, someone hijacked a semi-trailer with 12 ton or something of Kit Kats in it. Like they stole the whole truck. Anyhow, so all these companies started posting, oh, look, really sorry to hear about Kit Kat getting their thing stolen. We don't know anything about it, but like say the Burger King ad and the burger or whatever it is, Big Mac guy or whatever, has chocolate all over his face and things like this. And it was pretty funny. And everyone was doing, like all these big corporations were doing them. And so I was like, well, we've got to get in on this act. And so what we did was we posted that we were going to, that we were, really upset to hear about the hijacking of the Kit Kats, and we love Kit Kats, and we had nothing to do with it. And then we cut to a shot of an empty bottle with bourbon in it and Kit Kats all spread around it, saying, but we're very pleased to announce that we're bringing out a Kit Kat finished bourbon, right? We must have had, I don't know, 40 calls from people wanting the first bottles of our Kit Kat bourbon.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, and our
I'm not
Instagram got
surprised.
lit up. Yeah. And then I'm thinking about it, I'm like, that would be delicious.
But how would you get that approved? It couldn't be bourbon. It would have to be whiskey.
Oh no, it'd be whiskey, but still Kit Kat whiskey, Kit Kat American whiskey would be epic.
You just serve it with like a side of a Kit Kat, put it inside the glass, maybe.
Well, you could make a cocktail with it. That would be
you could do like root beer float style with the Kit Kat instead.
But what I was thinking, we could just they put the worm into the tequila and stuff. We could just drop a Kit Kat into each bottle and let it dissolve in there.
I see no problem.
Pretty good.
It would be good. Let's do it. Okay, I just have to say this because okay, I get hate every time I do this, but I really love your gin. And I know this is a bourbon channel. However, we're doing an event on the 23rd. One option is to do the cocktail space, and we're going to do cocktail drinks with their clear spirits. Yep. The other part is the cigar and bourbon tasting event. I'm so excited about the clear spirits and the rose water because the gin is so. I have one here. Here it is. And look at that cute little wombat.
Oh, that's the one I've got here. That's what I drink.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite one. And
it's really good.
What made you say, hey, okay, now we're going to do gin too, or clear spirits in general?
Yeah, no, I love gin, right? I did my very first gin at the winery. Well, it was Dad's gin. I just watched it so it didn't blow up. But when I was probably 12 or 13. So I've been around, like it was bootlegged, obviously. But, that I love gin. Like in Australia, you go into, a big liquor store, like a Total Wine or a Kroger or whatever. And you've got literally a corridor of bourbon, both sides. In Australia, you go into a liquor store like that, and it's gin. So, you know, they make amazing gin in Australia, and I've grown up on it. I just really love it. They do a lot of experimental stuff. The thing that is different between Australian gin and American gin, for instance, is that American gin, or there's a lot of good craft American gins out there, like a lot, but you've got to find them. They're pretty localized. But the big houses, for some reason, make gin so it's like sucking on a pine cone,
100%,
or drinking pine sol. And this is why when we go to a whiskey show or a trade show, we're like, oh, try our gin. And people are like, oh no, I don't drink gin. You know, blah 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 blah. And I just try ours. It's not like you're sucking on a Christmas tree. We put the minimal amount of juniper in it to be able to call it gin. The other thing we do is all of our botanicals, apart from the juniper, come from Australia. So, for instance, the gin you've got right there, our Outback Tuxedo, is an olive inspired forward gin that uses things like it has oyster shells in it. It has lemon myrtle. It has sea lettuce. It has native Australian olive tree leaves. It has cold pressed Australian olive oil. And the reason that's important with botanicals is that Australian botanicals, because it's so dry, can be oftentimes more intense, or they're not as sweet or whatever. And so you use these botanicals, and we've got, you know, some of them are flowers and some are seaweed and some are oysters and all this sort of stuff. And it's just different. It's the gin tastes fresher. Not to say you couldn't do that here with the right botanicals, but we just, because I know what they are and I know how to get them, we just use everything is Australian botanicals. And I love gin. Summer, I just drink gin and tonics and martinis, and that's me.
A martini, not a gin martini, a martini.
Well, yeah, there's no such thing as So, okay, so
I agree.
I get a lot of hate for this. So on our menu at the distillery for cocktails, there is a martini, and there is a vodka drink with vermouth. Because if you want a vodka martini, that's not a real thing. It doesn't exist. So the only real martini is a gin martini. So if you want a vodka martini, it's really just vodka with vermouth.
In a glass with a fancy stone.
Yeah, I'd give it to them in a paper cup if I was allowed to, because I don't think.
I love it.
Yeah, so please never come to the distillery and ask for a vodka martini.
If you're coming to a bourbon distillery and ask for a vodka martini, you need to leave. Number one.
Yeah, really. But the other side of that coin is we
sell vodka.
We do. We make vodka, but vodka's not my thing. I don't care about vodka. We make it because it's a precursor of gin, and we use it in our cocktails, and so do some of our on-premise accounts. They use it in their cocktails. So, and it's good gin apparently. Good vodka apparently. I don't.
It is great. It's good. Yeah.
But yeah, so when you come in, always get a gin martini. And if you haven't tried, when you're at the distillery and you haven't tried gin, just ask the guys in the tasting room. They'll let you try it.
Well, we're gonna do a tasting. So our event, you're gonna have cocktails, and then they'll have like a 1/4 ounce of each of the spirits to try.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Hopefully folks will like that. And when just flipping back to Wanker Wednesday and stuff, if folks want to follow our socials, it's just at Larrikin Bourbon for our distilleries social Instagram, and my personal one is at Larrikin Distiller, and I'll follow you back, of course. So if you want to reach out on Instagram, I can almost get it to work now. So
close. So just real quick, we're doing an event with these guys on the 23rd. You can decide to do the cigar and bourbon tasting or the cocktail with the clear spirits and the rosewater tasting. And then we're going to just hang out and be on their awesome patio, all the Australian food, all the things. We're going to just that's our ending space on Saturday for a reason, so that we can just kind of hang out. But Greg, we've hit our hour. I just really appreciate your time. It's been so cool to talk to you. Everybody's been really excited about it. Is there anything else you want to share with us, or that we should know about with you guys? Or
no, I think that's the lot. You know, a couple of other we're the only veteran-owned and veteran-distilled bourbon distillery in the country, as we understand it. We're certainly the only one in Kentucky. We don't have any corporate money like there's other veteran. I'm not doing, but I keep
sure,
doing
with investments up, yeah.
Yeah, but they're corporately owned and that sort of thing. There's some great small craft veteran distillers out there as well. So keep an eye out for them. Good friends of mine up that they make single malts, American single malts up in Baltimore, called Old Line. They're both former Navy pilots. So, you know, get out there and support, you know, the veterans with it, and just support craft distilleries.
Yes.
You know, as Katie always says, you know, Wild Turkey, and we love Wild Turkey. They're our neighbors, and they're great neighbors. But, you know, they won't notice if you don't buy a bottle from them when you visit. We sure as hell do notice when you do, because it makes a big difference, and we really genuinely appreciate it. So if you come in and buy a bottle, I might shave off my moustache. How's that?
Wow. I
might
mean,
not, but, you know.
I'm like, I feel like that's like a big risk. What if they don't want you to shave it off? Or if they do, I don't know.
Yeah. No,
but, well, thanks again, and we really appreciate it. We're looking forward to, we have all the Larrikin at handy spot with Tipsy. So if anybody needs to simulate down, we can. And again, we appreciate it, Greg. And thanks for your time. Thanks for all your expertise. We're really excited to be there on the 23rd. So
thanks, Big Bourboners. Love you guys.
Yep. We'll see you later. Thanks, guys.
See ya.